Hello and welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. My name is Mark Storrs and I'm joined by Mr. Chris Carnicelli.
Hi, everyone.
And Robert Thomas Morphy II.
Indubadilly.
Thank you all so very much for joining us. Before we get started with the show, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone that sent me condolences. Unfortunately, this week my grandfather passed away. But I'm happy that I had a time with him. And, it sucks, but... unfortunately, it's just one of those things. So thank you to everyone for the messages and the emails and the DMs and whatnot. Much appreciated. And, there it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how old they get, you still love them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, but I'm so lucky. I've had him in my life since I'm almost 42.
Right.
So I'm so lucky that I had that much time with him. And,
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, so, it sucks, but here we are. We are back with, the trilogy.
Yes.
The Dagg Demon.
The long-awaited conclusion of the Dagg Demon saga.
This is the Dagg Demon Part 3. I don't know how many three-parters we've done.
With Frogman, I think maybe...
Was Frogman a three-parter?
I think so.
I
think
can't remember.
Also Harrison Bailey.
Shit, was that 3?
Oh, shit.
Might have been a Deuce,
Maybe
but I think it was 3.
I don't know, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, no, usually it's either 6 or 2.
Yeah.
So, but it's in rare company.
There's no in between.
This might be the in-between. But of course, before we get started, Patreon, we got folks to thank for their monthly support. Robert, let's read those names.
As ever, one of my great joys of the week. Laramie Daniel Lucas.
Thank you so much.
Yvonne Bolin.
Oh, yeah, Yvonne.
Logan Gabriel.
What up?
Barry.
Thank you.
Martin Poles.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Poles.
Destin Star.
Oh, Destin, I like it.
Cindy Trusty.
What? I actually just got an email from her, I believe. Thank you,
That's
Cindy.
dope. I love
What
that
up?
name. Meredith King.
Hell yeah, Meredith.
How regal. Pun fully intended. Hail Sagan 89.
Oh, dope.
Oh, yeah. The Cosmos. Patricia Kokos.
Thank you, Patricia.
Glitter and Rot.
It's a dope name for a band. I like it.
Yeah, it would be. Oh, my God. That'd be so top 20. Nova Zero.
Hell yeah, Nova.
Pam Miller.
Thank you, Pam.
Chris Thompson.
Thank you, Chris.
Ormsfang.
Hell yeah, Orm's
That's
fine.
my favorite band.
Oh, yeah. No
Doesn't-
doubt. It's so
dope.
Norwegian. And rounding it out, last but certainly not least, David Mucky.
Hell yeah, David. Thank you all so very
David
much.
Muggy. So I think you were on such a good roll, but
Yeah.
I think that fairy, I think it's
You know,
Farley.
I think you're right. My eyes are like I got old man eyes now. Everyone
Okay,
knows.
it's fine.
I think you're right. I think let's nip that correction in the bud right now. Because I was questioning as I was looking. I saw a little white line in there, but now that I've tilted my old man glasses down to the tip of my fuck-sucking nose, I can see that Farley, you were done wrong. And Ferry is a fine name, but Farley is the one you put down, and that's the one you get. So Farley it fucking is. It's not for me to decide.
No, it's for Chris to
Or not
catch.
see.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. No, it was just, and you kept, I'm like, you know what? Let's just do this at the end.
You know, I said that. Now, we always do a test run. I said Barry in the test run, and no one called me out.
Oh, did you?
I did.
I probably wasn't
I
even
didn't
So,
I
listening.
I guess the onus is on all of us now.
None of us were listening when you were talking.
I
Farley's
don't,
just sharpening his knives,
Yeah,
planning the
there you
trip.
go.
I refuse the spread of blame.
Oh, no.
Well, then why do we do a practice run, damn it?
It's so that
You're
you can
saying
get,
we.
you can get the names
It's
down.
not
Yeah, you're
we.
right.
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. It's on me.
All right, fine. Thank y'all. Continue Patreon support. Patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Go there, sign up, do your shit. Everything's there. All the information.
Sure.
Head over there. Take care
Do
of
it.
that.
Enjoy it.
There it
Love
is.
it. Live it.
Thank you again. And yes, as I mentioned earlier, this is the trilogy here. We're talking Dagg Demon Part 3, The Reckoning.
Oh,
It's the best.
yes. It's not as cool as the
Subphrase.
reconnoitering, but no one's really looking to see what's going on.
Or the reconnaissance.
Yeah, that could have been it. Yeah,
Right.
Or the requisitioning, where you're a bureaucrat and you're waiting for papers to come in. That goes on in hell, I'm sure. If there's bureaucracy anywhere, it's in a hell, which I don't necessarily believe exists.
No.
Though I'm not totally comfortable saying it doesn't.
I feel like there's more in heaven.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think
Than in
well,
a
yeah,
hell.
because but I don't know. But bureaucracy is so goddamn suffering and.
It's definitely-
it's so much. It's so hellish that I almost think it has to be in hell, in abundance. Though I certainly think there's paperwork in heaven,
Oh, for sure.
if there is either place.
I mean, I don't, hope that can skip that line.
That
Just be
having
like,
been
I ain't
said-
doing the shit.
We are
There you
dealing
go.
with The Reckoning.
Of the Dagg Demon.
Yes.
The trilogy, part 3. Let's get started with after enduring months of relentless attacks at the invisible hands of a sinister specter known as the Dagg Demon, the victims were given a burst of hope that their nightmarish ordeal might finally be coming to an end. But the diabolical being that had been tormenting them was about to undergo a bizarre transformation that would lead one of the Dagg children to a tragic fate. And dark revelations about the family's past would open the door to a horror that continues to this day.
Yeah.
It's never good revelations.
No.
It's
no.
like-
Has any revelation ever been like, oh, you're a secret millionaire and your dick's actually 3 inches bigger than you thought because you don't know how to measure? And,
Right. You have
here's your donut.
dysmorphia.
Yeah. No, this never happened.
Is that a thing?
I mean,
Dysmorphia? Yeah, I'm sure.
Dick dysmorphia. Save it for Patreon.
It's too late.
So this doesn't end much like Stranger Things, so I guess we'll just kind of go for the ride and see what
Yeah,
happens.
no, I mean, all the foreshadowing's built into the intro, but
There you go.
we know that there's going to be some twists here.
Okay.
Let's begin with a recap, as we often do. After an epic debate, 5 hours, as you might recall, in front of numerous witnesses between a frankly pushy paranormal investigator bearing the indelible name of Percy Woodcock and the fiendish fallen angel that had been dubbed by frightened locals, as aforementioned, the Dagg Demon, the entity vowed to leave the family it had been tormenting for 3 months and depart to realms unknown. But, as everyone dealing with degenerate demonic forces, there was a catch. Before it would take its final bow, the voice insisted that it return again at midnight the following day, Sunday, the 17th of November, so it's lasted from September to November, and remain there until 1 a.m. in order to, according to the Brockville Times, convince the unbelievers of its existence. With that, Percy climbed into his rig at 2 a.m. and took leave with Arthur Smart, with whom he had been lodging, promising to return the next day for the big farewell. So, just to give a little further recap, because I don't know if I illustrated enough, the big debate, there was the 5-hour debate that started in the unfinished woodshed behind the Dagg house where the demon allegedly lived. And it's where poor Dina, 11-year-old girl, originally from Scotland, adopted by the Daggs, was getting physically abused every time the sort of loquacious, shall we say, Percy Woodcock was barraging the beast. Finally, they took the discussion inside the house where I assume because the demon was sick of being badgered by this motherfucker, he relented and said, all right, I'll split, but I'm going to show back up at midnight tomorrow. And I'm going to stay for an hour, give my encore performance.
Yes, I remember this. Okay.
As the disincarnate demon had hoped, word of its invitation to change the local skeptics' minds swiftly spread throughout the surrounding communities, and by Sunday morning, throngs had gathered onto the Dagg farmstead. The group of more than 50 onlookers were broken into 2 camps. Those yearning for a peek at the infernal thing, or failing that, a glimpse of its hellish powers, and those hoping to catch either Dina or George or another family member in the act of perpetrating what would have been, had all this been a ruse, a thoroughly self-destructive hoax. And I mean thoroughly, like glass is broken. We're going to get into all that again, but just, Jesus Christ, if they did it to themselves, the fuck. Percy returned the next day along with Arthur and Mary Smart, as well as the presumably related Alex and Benjamin Smart, but they don't qualify who they are, and was likely surprised to see that the mob of curiosity seekers had their run of the property and could apparently meander where they liked, even into and out of the house. Percy got settled with the family inside the kitchen, and again in the Brockville Times, he wrote this regarding the interactions that the Dagg's neighbors were enjoying with the now thoroughly benign voice, who, like a considerate celebrity, arrived hours early to mingle with its audience. Quote, "From early morning the voice, which was apparently on its good behavior as had been promised, answered the questions of everybody and made comments on different persons as they entered the room."
What? That was just a fun insult comic or whatever?
Exactly. Triumph the fucking dead demon.
Oh my God. Well, Martha, very nice tits, Martha. Excellent tits.
Yeah,
John, love the cock. Excellent. Cool.
Love the cock.
Just sweet and obscene.
Terry, great feet.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck? It's
He
so
looks down at his penis in shame.
yeah, he's like, no, Terry, your cock's not great. Sorry. It's so
But-
bizarre. It's like a Comic-Con. He just shows
yeah.
up. All right, weird.
Yeah, just I mean, he says, "I'll be there at midnight to 1. That's it."
Wow.
Shows up at the crack of fucking dawn and just starts entertaining the crowds. Because you know what? He's a consummate performer. He's
Yeah.
a professional.
All right.
The Dagg Demon does not skimp on its fans. Okay.
No, not at all.
God damn. But there was a darker side to this impromptu Q&A that even Percy seemed to have missed. That being that those who feared that the beast might have strayed from the Dagg farm to peek in on those living around them were evidently not far off the mark. As Percy wrote, quote, "Some of the remarks were very amusing and displayed an intimate knowledge of the private affairs of many of the questioners," end quote. Yeah, fucking amusing.
Dude,
That's what you call it?
He's just dropping.
Okay.
He's dropping hot goss on everybody.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're loving this.
Oh no.
Yeah, Phil, slipping it to the fucking milkmaid. Sorry, Mrs. Brockenworth. Yeah, fucking whatever.
Brockenworth.
Yeah, it's the worst name I've ever made.
That's
Brockenworth?
close.
Oh my
I'm
God.
probably going to have to use it for the Patreon later.
All right,
Something
perfect.
Brockenworth.
Perfect.
Maybe it'll be my first name. Okay. Taking advantage of the fact that the property was now infested with those who had, on repeated occasions, bore witness to the execrable entity's filthy words and despicable deeds, Percy talked to multiple observers and hastily wrote up a narrative of the events that had transpired on the farm while and before he was present. Once finished, he took the statement to some of the more prestigious witnesses in attendance, including clergymen, police officers, politicians, and farmers, many of whom bore the surname of Dagg, it should be noted. We'll get into that specifically later, but a lot of Daggs were included in the signing list. Asked them to read the contents of the affidavit and sign if they agreed to its veracity. 17, quote, respectable and responsible citizens of the neighborhood and from a distance, end quote, signed the statement. Percy reported in the Brockville Times that he had 50 witnesses lined up to affirm that what was written was the truth, but, quote, when he got to the 17th name, he concluded that it was enough. So right now we are going to read what Percy wrote and then the names of the signees. To whom it may concern. We, the undersigned, solemnly declare that the following curious proceedings, which began on the 15th day of September, 1889, and are still going on the 17th day of November, 1889, in the home of Mr. George Dagg, a farmer living 7 miles from Shawville, Clarendon Township, Pontiac County, province of Quebec, actually occurred as described. First, that fires had broken out spontaneously through the house, as many as 8 occurring on one day, 6 being in the house and 2 outside. That the window curtains were burned whilst on the windows. This happened in broad daylight whilst the family and the neighbors were in the house. Second, that stones were thrown by invisible hands through the windows, as many as 8 panes of glass being broken, that articles such as a water jug, milk pitcher, a wash basin, cream jug.
Cream jug.
I know, Jesus Christ. Butter tub, cream jug.
Is it is it like a porn mag or
Gee,
something?
it had to have been, at least
Cream
like in the
jug.
mid-70s.
No, it's gross, but like what I picture in my head is just a delicious jug
of
cream.
Fresh cream.
Yeah. Just like whipped
That
cream.
could be whipped with some sugar to make delicious whipped cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even being a scumbag about it. But
No.
I'm still laughing like I'm 14.
Because it's fun. Cream jug.
Cream jug. Butter tub, and other articles were thrown about the house by the same invisible agency. A jar of water being thrown in the face of Mrs. Johnson. Excuse me. I don't know why I just said that. Mrs. John Dagg. There is no Mrs. Johnson in the story. Also in the face of Mrs. George Dagg, whilst they were busy about their household duties. Mrs. George Dagg being alone in the house at the time it was thrown in her face. So I remembered that George's wife Susan had it chucked in her face, but I didn't know his mom did too.
Oh
So,
man,
news.
don't be throwing shit in my face, dog.
That a large shelf was heard distinctly to be played and was seen to move across the room on the floor. I guess, I don't know, played, I toyed with. Immediately after, a rocking chair began rocking furiously, that a washboard was sent flying down the stairs from the garret, no one being in the garret at the time. That just means a second floor or like
Yeah,
a
so what the
shitty attic or something
fuck is
like
a
that.
garret?
Yeah, I know, it's not often used. It continues. that when the child Dina is present, a deep gruff voice like that of an aged man has been heard at various times, both in the house and outdoors, and when asked questions, answered so as to be distinctly heard, showing that he is cognizant of all that has taken place, not only in Mr. Dagg's family, but also in the families of the surrounding neighborhood, that he claims to be a disincarnated being who died 20 years ago, aged 80 years, that he gave his name to Mr. George Dagg and Mr. Willie Dagg. Willie Dagg was new to the party.
Willie Dagg?
Yeah. I thought it was George and his dad, John.
Dude, Willie Dagg, dude.
From reports I had read before, but now Willie Dagg's up in the mix, so okay.
Okay.
Forbidding them to tell it, as you guys might recall, under penalty of death. I'm just adding that. Back to the letter. That this intelligence is able to make himself visible to Dina, little Mary, and Johnny, who have seen him under different forms at different times, at one time as a tall, thin man with a cow's head, horns, and cloven foot, at another time as a big black dog, and finally, and I'm going to stop here, this is where I will ask our gentle listeners to take note of this last description for future reference. It also appeared, and finally, as, quote, a man with a beautiful face and long white hair, dressed in white, wearing a crown with stars on it. This has not been mentioned yet. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to this.
Okay. All right.
And this statement was signed by John Dagg, Dad, or Grandpa, George Dagg, Dad, William Eades, William H. Dagg, presumably
Willie
the Willie,
Dagg, the new Dagg.
Willie Dagg.
New Dagg
Arthur
in
Smart,
town.
the neighbor who witnessed the whipping, as you'll recall, and was also apologized to when the thing finally turned its tone from, bellicose to fucking sweet. Charles A. Dagg, Bruno Morrow, Benjamin Smart, again presumably related to the Smarts, William J. Dagg, that also could be the Willie.
There's two
We just
Willie
don't know.
Daggs.
There's two Willie Daggs.
Fucking Daggs.
Double Willie Dagg. Robert F. Peaver, Robert H. Lockhart, John Fulfrid. Oh, Fulfrid. Oh, I love it. George H. Hodgkins. No.
Hodgins?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Richard F. Dagg. Dagg Party. George Blackwell. William Smart. And let's not forget to round it up with John J. Dagg. Double John Daggs.
Thank
Double
you
John,
all.
double Willie
JJ.
Dagg.
Thank you for your continued Patreon support, Dagg family.
No, I know. That's what I was thinking when he was saying the names. I'm like, oh.
It's important to read the names, I think, because when we do our skeptical appraisal, as we try to do, as we do a more open-minded one, that's a pile of Dags.
Yeah,
that seems like,
yeah,
I'm just
lot of
guessing. I
Dags.
haven't counted. It's not quite half Dag, I think, but it might be.
It's a fucking...
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean they're lying for each other. They could have just been witnesses. You're more likely to have your blood relations around your house when random shit happens in the middle of the fucking week than strangers.
Sure, but
True.
you also had 30 plus other ones that you thought were not necessary to mention?
Yeah.
17 was enough?
Yeah, you could
you
have.
had
Yeah,
50
you had 50.
plus?
I don't know why Percy called it at 50, especially when it was such a pile of Dags. Like, he probably should have gotten more, but we might figure that out a little
right.
better at some point.
There's
soon.
a reason you're saying that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Percy
The shadow is 4.
Percy Woodcock might
Okay.
be fucking
So
business.
Percy writes this affidavit, for lack of a better word, this testimony up, brings it around, gets it signed by notables, and maybe a lot of the family were the politicians, police officers, clergymen who at the time, I'm not saying that people don't still hold those positions in high esteem, but probably in 1889
I'm
they
sure
were
these were
much elevated.
the Falutins. Of
Yeah, the Falutins, exactly. So, back to the story. Not long before noon, remember, this dude's not showing up until midnight. He's here rocking from morning on. Not long before noon, after the bulk of the events which had plagued the Daggs were noted in the affidavit, the situation at the Dagg household underwent a sudden transformation. The change was triggered when one of the visitors remarked that the voice was not using foul language as it had on so many previous occasions. The rapt audience was in for a shock when, after a moment, the heretofore bellicose Beelzebub responded in the same hoarse voice, quote, "I'm not that person that used dirty language. I am an angel from heaven sent by God to drive away that fellow."
Oh,
end quote.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even. Okay, we just got to
let that one
continue.
settle.
Yeah, we
This
got to
is-
keep going. You got
This
to
is
do it.
just, I can't even. Okay.
I know. We can't break it down because we got to know more. This must have come as a surprise to all within earshot, but though it might have sounded like a welcome relief to some, to others, particularly those all too familiar with the demon's deceitful tactics, its words were to be taken with, at best, a pinch of salt. or maybe a smidge of oven sugar, as fuck-alls are known to
Oh,
do.
right. Oven Bible.
Yeah, oven Bible. When midnight finally came, many of those in attendance were abuzz, asking questions of the incorporeal, that's what I get for using big words, entity, and wondering what might happen next. Despite the fact that this newly rebranded angelic apparition was still holding court, at 12:30 a.m., Percy, clearly believing the voice's declaration that the ordeal was over, said his goodbyes and took leave of the Dagg land for the home of Arthur Smart, where, of course, he's staying, nearby farmer. The cocksure sculptor, demon debater, and part-time journalist must have been well satisfied with his contributions to banishing this once ruinous rogue back to the pits of hell. But, much like the diminutive spirit medium brought to life by the late great Zelda Rubinstein in Steven Spielberg and Tobe Hooper's 1982 spectral magnum opus Poltergeist, I love that movie, Percy's declaration that this house is clean was premature, to say the least.
The Dagg Demon just slipped the script on you. He's like, oh no, I'm an angel.
Yeah, I'm an angel.
Yeah, you can't just be like,
I'm
oh,
a
yeah.
demon. Fuck you guys. No, you forgot. I kicked that fuckface out. I mean, I'm sorry, that guy out. I don't swear anymore. I'm the fucking angel.
All right.
Fuck, I swear again. God damn it, I'm a demon. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't do the old man, even though I'm a gruff old man. I can't quite do it, but
Oh God.
there it is. The following events were later conveyed to Woodcock by numerous eyewitnesses, including Mary, Alex, and Benjamin Smart, who reported that when 1 a.m., the appointed hour of the voice's departure, finally arrived, the crowd pleaded for the now beatific being to remain and continue its discussion. So it already was there from dawn till fucking midnight.
Yeah, pregame.
Now
for
they're
like
like,
a whole half a day.
oh, you guys stay. Come on. I know you're going to leave. What? Encore.
Now that
Encore.
you're nice and we're friends, can you stay?
It agreed, but demanded that 2 religious leaders be sent for, particularly Presbyterian Reverend Mr. Ducklos, and editor of the Pontiac Advance is the name of the publication, and English Church Reverend Mr. Naylor, both of whom had been harsh critics of the allegedly paranormal events plaguing the Daggs, and believed the entire affair to be a hoax. The entity wanted to prove to these skeptics that it was indeed real, but being as both clergymen were too far away, it was decided by those present that they would send for a Baptist preacher, the Reverend Mr. Bell, who had been sermonizing that evening not far from the farm. So I don't know if that guy's a local or if he's just like a traveling preacher man. Doesn't matter. He's fucking delivering the word of God.
Yeah.
Not far away. They send people to him. When he was first approached, Bell was reluctant to travel to the rural estate, but he was eventually convinced to come and confront the demon. In due time, the Reverend arrived at the scene, and the moment he stepped through the Dagg's door, the booming voice called his name, but Bell ignored it, stating to those near him that, quote, he would have nothing to do with evil spirits. The voice, evidently angered at being ignored, reverted back to its formerly belligerent ways and formerly, belligerent ways, and called the clergyman a coward. It further claimed that the preacher was disingenuous and, quote, he was all words, end quote, adding derisively that the man of the cloth had better find a new career path. The crusty-sounding angel/demon then concluded that it would be better, it would be, it itself being the disembodied creature, a better preacher than Bell could ever be.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So he's just,
all right,
Bell, oh, you're not going to talk to me?
Yeah.
You suck, Bell.
You blow, your words blow. I'm a better preacher, and I'm a demon.
Yeah. I don't even have a body. I'm just a voice.
Bell, for his part, was quote-unquote visibly agitated by the verbal assault.
I see. That's where you fucked up. You can't let him get under
Can't
your
let him
skin.
see. I mean, if there's one thing Karras had to learn hard from Max von Sydow, whose character name I forgot.
As soon as Conor McGregor gets in your head, you're done.
All right, all
There you
analogies
go.
are valid here.
Perfect.
You can't let this fucking shit get
No,
to you.
you
You got to
can't,
act
man.
hard. So, again, Bell, for his part, was visibly agitated by the verbal assault and suggested to those present that they collectively pray. Like Reverend Horner before him, the preacher produced a Bible and began reciting from its pages. Unlike the situation with Reverend Horner, however, the entity not only let Bell keep his Bible, but recited the verse along with him, often, quote, going in advance of the clergyman.
Oh, shit.
So he knows the Bible just as well.
Wow.
He's not even needing to read it. The voice is just saying it at this point. It was at this point that Bell accused the Daggs of bringing forth this corrupt cockodemon, which is just a fancy word for saying demon.
It's
Oh, deicide.
deicide. Satan is like, Satan spawned the yes. I fucking love that. God damn it.
By quote unquote.
We're on deicide.
Our,
Yes.
yes, let's get our deicide love out. I do love deicide.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
So Bell accused the Daggs of trampling the Bible underfoot. Literally.
Okay.
I don't know what it means. I don't know if it's metaphorical, like you didn't respect the Bible enough, or you're literally doing a jig on Bible.
Like if you dance in the Bible, a demon appears?
I suppose.
I mean, what else?
I mean, if in 1889, you certainly probably thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pass the blame, I guess, somewhere. Like,
Let's try it.
it's clearly your fault.
Oh, well, the demon is out Bibling him,
Right.
is mocking him, saying,
Right.
you suck. So, of course, he's got to blame the family.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, don't look at me. I'm a great preacher. This family sucks.
It's
They
your
trample
fault.
Bibles.
Didn't clean your fucking cream jug. Dirty cream jug.
You got dirty, creamy jugs.
Oh, that will bring a demon. Dirty, creamy jugs.
Dirty, creamy
Every time.
jugs.
Lack of corn.
Oh,
Corn sucks.
my God, your corn
Wait,
sucks.
how many chickens you got? Huh?
Yeah.
Did you got the minimum chickens?
What is the minimum
Chickens to banish a demon.
No. So it's clearly your fault.
Continue
Okay,
on.
that was wonderful.
Dags.
It was at this point that the Reverend Mr. Bell demanded it leave the premises immediately. There was a moment of silence. Then the voice bellowed jeering laughter, mocking the minister, saying that it was all just words, and telling him that he better stick to his hobby of photography because his preaching was, and this is me, not him saying it, but it's implied, straight garb.
Nice.
Garb.
Yeah.
Nice.
With that, Bell swiftly fled the farm without so much as another word.
He ran the preacher out.
Second
Wow.
minister to bail with a quick fast.
Wow, all
when they
right.
can't take it.
Yeah, see, I find that like you think the steadfast preachers and priests would be not fazed by this,
Right.
Right.
But no, it's like
So the interesting thing about this to me, and it's going to actually play into my assumptions on whether or not this is a young girl who's carrying out a ventriloquism act in front of 50 people who can't tell that she's doing it with a voice that should shred anybody's voice box for fucking 12 straight hours or whatever. If you have any sense that this is a child doing this, or any sense that, I mean, you should think if you're a person dedicated to God, you believe your God is a number one. He's,
No,
like,
that's
he's better
right.
than the Duke of New York.
For sure.
This motherfucker's in charge. So why wouldn't you just steadfastly stay there? If you're of a good heart
That's
to
what I'm
save the
saying.
family.
Yes.
If you're pompous and full of yourself, then you do it just to bolster your standing in the community.
just 100%.
So either way, whether you're selfish or genuinely good-hearted,
You
if
should be
if
staying
you
there.
believe in God,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Okay. After he bailed, the crowd tensed in unison, perhaps fearing that the demon's ire had once again been ignited by that attempted exorcism, but they would be in for a surprise. Right now, we're going to go back to Woodcock's article because he breaks it down beautifully.
Nice.
So our beloved Percy Woodcock starts this section of his super long article that we've been referencing constantly with a header, and that is an extraordinary scene. So I'm going to continue just to read from his piece. After Mr. Bell had gone, and while the house was full of people, the voice cried out, "You don't believe that I am an angel because my voice is coarse. I will show you that I don't lie, but always tell the truth," end quote. When instantly the voice changed to one of exquisite sweetness. So now that's interesting. Because even after it claimed to be an angel, it was still like Harvey Firestein, after a fucking, pack of lucky strikes.
Still a dinkus.
As far as I can hear him.
All because he has a gruff voice.
Well, yeah, no, he's probably just a normal gruff old man voice. I want it to be the richest,
Angels.
deepest,
Yeah.
mean-spiritedest. Not that Harvey is mean-spirited, but you know what I mean. That's what I want to hear.
So this
but
is-
now all of a sudden, it's just like, I can't do it. I don't have a nice voice.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I mean, none of us.
none
I
of
mean,
us
Chris
do.
has the voice of an angel. We
Yeah.
know that.
Oh, yeah.
But now it changes to one of exquisite sweetness.
Nice.
When asked afterwards why he did not change his voice before, he replied that he was afraid that if he did, they would think it was Dina. Interesting.
Okay.
Pack that one away.
Right.
He then sang the following rhymes, which he dictated afterwards, and they were copied by Dina and William Dagg, one of the two Willies. We don't know which.
Okay.
Didn't give a middle initial. Here's the song that I'm not going to sing. I'm going to fucking read. I am... No, sorry. Just walk around. I am waiting to call you, dear sinner. Come to the Savior, come to him now. Won't you receive him just now, right now? Oh, just now. Oh, list now. All right, it's... All right, so here's where I'm going to break down and tell the audience. We are reading a Xerox of an ancient newspaper article that is like a fucking Rorschach test, so I'm doing the best I can. Oh, list now. He is calling today. He is calling you, Jesus. Move. Come to him now. Come to him, dear brothers and sisters. Come to him now. It's not over. It's not over.
I don't.
I like how you're reading it as if Henry Rollins is doing poetry.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
All right.
I mean, how else are you going to do this?
I don't know how else to do it. Do you one of you guys want to take over the second verse?
No,
Because
you're doing. No, this is your red monk moment.
All
You're
right,
doing
thank you.
great.
Oh,
You're doing
I
great.
did read poetry there. Trust in the Lord and he will save. He is calling to save you just now. He will save you. Come to the Jesus. Come away. He is willing. He will trust you. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Come away. Come to Jesus. Come away. And I'll just let that hang.
Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus.
Come to Jesus. Come. So,
Oh my God!
What 90s?
What night? Yeah.
It was that. No, it was that.
What is that? You would know that.
Oh, stop! Because
You like shitty
I
fucking
did not
90s.
like that song. That was that "Come, my lady, come,
Oh,
my lady."
yeah. See?
Who the fuck? The guy's name was like Shazzy Shitfart or something.
Fancy shit part.
That's more than I would have ever gotten.
No,
shit.
I take it back. That's going to be my Patreon name.
It was fucking shit, slippery two shits or something. Fucking what's his name? It's
Oh my God. Keep going.
Great names.
Keep going.
just some garbage band. I can't think on their fuck. I got the guy's picture of my.
Was it 311?
No,
It was a band though, right?
It was
Even
a
though-
band. Yeah, that come my lady, come my, come
like,
to Jesus, come.
Pokey blonde hair guy?
Yeah, shitty blonde hair guy, and it was like, "You're my butterfly, fly away, butterfly."
I don't know.
Did they have more than that hit?
I don't think so. No. Was it Crazy Town? Crazy Town, because
That sounds familiar.
I think they're playing like around here somewhere.
For
Oh,
free,
boy.
I hope.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like
yeah.
it's got like last day of the state
like,
fair.
It's like when Trapped played in the Finger Lakes Mall for like 6 people.
Oh my God.
Trapped.
Before that, dude was a crazy fucking right-wing nutball on Twitter. Look, we're playing the Finger Lakes Mall, and people were like, "It was great." And it was fucking not
Crazy
great.
Town.
I wasn't
Man,
there.
I would
Okay.
never remember that.
I never.
I remember it from the record store.
I don't even remember now that you say
because
it.
it came out when we
All
were
right,
working at
all
the
right,
record
we're done
store.
with Crazy
I
Town.
knew you were a fan.
How I read
Pretend
this,
like you didn't remember.
this fucking song is apparently not how the people in 1889 on the Dagg farm received it.
Okay.
And I'm going to continue with
Was
the
it just a
article.
bunch of growls and farts and noises?
No.
Okay.
These were beautifully sung by the voice. At his request, Miss Mary Smart, who I believe is Arthur's wife,
Okay.
accompanying him where she could. Those present unite in saying that though Miss Smart is considered a very fine singer, her voice was coarse compared to that of the spirit, like an angel.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I thought Smart could sing, but that bitch is fucking roughing this whole
Yeah.
scene up.
This bitch fucking sucks.
Wow.
There
The
was her
singing
career.
was kept up until the whole crowd was in a state of, anyone want to guess?
Frenzy?
Violent agitation.
Oh shit! It
I
got
thought, yeah,
violent.
when you're hearing beautiful angelic music sung by one decent, one glorious
You
singer.
get violently agitated?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, or is it like the scene at Fatima where when the sun starts bouncing and the faithful
Well,
are
why
like,
isn't every
"Oh!"
church Sunday a bloodbath?
I
Yeah,
know, dude. It could be
well, in some churches, like snake handling, fucking.
it could be a dope
tongue
circle.
speaking
It could be a dope
madness.
circle pit.
Oh my God, that would have been maybe it was the first circle pit. Violent agitation, many of the women crying heartily. The people had become so interested that at the end of the hour, they again urged him to stay until 3 o'clock, which he, not surprisingly, consented to do. At 3 o'clock, he bade them all goodbye, except Dina, saying he would return at 11 o'clock the next morning to show himself to her, little Mary, and Johnny. So double goodbye.
All right. Okay.
And here's the other thing. No Chronicle of the Last Hour.
No.
Yeah,
guess
come on,
not.
You know, you get a full fucking. All right, so he stays from 1 to 2. You get a song.
Right.
You get a rockin' song. Mary
Yeah.
Smart can't sing for shit,
Yeah.
but everyone else is like, "Oh, this demon. Oh, I'm sorry, Angel knows how to fucking croon." It's like fucking Elvis in his prime.
Yeah.
And then fucking the next hour, I'll stay another hour. At 3, he left. What the fuck, dude?
He just,
Well, dude, he pre-gamed for like half a whole day.
Yeah, no, you're
Where
right.
was all
man.
that? Like fucking.
You're
Yeah,
right. At
what was
this
he
point,
doing?
it's like
Talking-
a 16-hour day for
just
him.
walking around, shaking hands, kissing babies and
I don't
shit.
even know how long days are. Jesus Christ, it's a long day.
I know, this is like a cruise. And like, he's just going table to table.
Yeah,
and we're like,
yeah,
hey, the
yeah.
smarts. How's the fucking day going?
It's fucking Willie Day.
Yeah, he's the recreational director. He's keeping everything
Oh
hopping.
my
The shuffleboard's kicking.
This guy's fucking man about his mayor. Right
Yeah,
now.
how's your cream jar?
Those creamy jugs.
Sanitized? No, okay, well, fuck off.
Sanitize.
Oh, they didn't have that back then.
No, that wasn't even a thing. Louis Pasteur was a fucking heretic.
God, you got them dirty cream jugs.
Okay.
Jesus.
So the promise to return yet another day to fix the dirty cream jugs.
God. I'm a 12.
All right. So the next heading we get is for Mr. Woodcock's benefit. I don't know why that's the heading. That's what it is, and I read it.
I
'cause
hate old
enjoyed
time.
it.
This is why I hate old time papers.
Old-timey journalism, coach.
Damn it.
Mr. Woodcock returned to Dagg's house on Monday morning to say goodbye to them before leaving for home, and spent the forenoon. I've never called a morning a forenoon.
No.
Arranging his notes and comparing them with the recollections of the Daggs and other neighbors, including Mr. Smart and some of the members of the family. It will be remembered that the voice had promised the previous night to return on Monday and say goodbye to the children. Mr. Woodcock relates that as he sat talking to the different persons in the room, the 3 children who had been out the door, I guess that's how you say outdoors in the 1890s or 80s, came rushing into the house, wild-eyed and fearfully excited. Little Mary crying out, "Oh, Mama, the beautiful man, he took little Johnny and me in his arms, and oh, Mama, I played on the music, and he went to heaven and was all red." End quote.
Oh, no.
Oh, is there been a child murder now?
No kids are dead.
Okay, all right.
She played on the music. He went to heaven. He's all red.
Yeah, no, that's.
Which really fucks you up a little.
None of that's good.
No.
No.
Playing
And
on
we're
the
gonna
music.
We're going to remember the last line in Woodcock's testimonial that he wrote down about the man
the
with
white-
with
the white,
beautiful
yeah.
face and
Yeah.
all that. But we're gonna get to this.
Stars.
Creepy wizard.
Something, by the way,
Baby eagle.
he could not possibly have written the night before to get signed by the people that were there the night before because it did
That's
not
true.
happen
Till right now.
until the next
Oh.
day.
Yeah.
So it definitely deserves to be pointed out solidly
Wait a
with a
minute.
dirty little finger
Are
toward Mr.
we
Woodcock.
fucking pulling the carpet out from underneath Mr. fucking Peacock now?
I don't think we're the first,
Okay.
but
Oh man, this is.
All right,
yeah.
All right, P.
I don't know what to
Woodcock.
But it
do.
doesn't mean it also doesn't mean the shit didn't happen.
Nah, I don't know.
Like a controversial investigator can come into a legitimate paranormal event and corrupt elements, but not necessarily
No,
corrupt
no,
the whole
right,
thing.
Right.
Right, right.
All right. Well, we
And
got
I'm
our.
not even saying 100%. I'm thinking it's just that's a shady thing.
all right,
that
we got our
deserves to be
eyes
pointed
on
out.
P. Woodcock,
Yeah.
dude. We're keeping him on P. Woodcock.
Playing on the music, he turned all red. All red. They rushed to the door, that meaning the adults in the room, whoever they were, but nothing unusual was to be seen. On questioning the girls, they both told, because Johnny, you got to remember, he's fucking 2. And I believe Mary's just 4.
Right.
And Dina's 11.
Okay.
So that, one's very young. I mean, my nephew's 4, and he is highly communicative, and he will tell you all about this fucking ladybug he saw and how it fought a dragon and all sorts of crazy cool shit. And it's all fun, but you definitely have to parse the reality with a 4-year-old.
Well, yeah,
A
for sure.
2-year-old ain't telling you shit.
For sure.
I mean, he's telling you shit, but not really.
Right.
So, so the 2 girls, they both told, on questioning the girls, they both told the same story. Their accounts, all right, this is just getting a little shady on the reading, said a
beautiful man.
is that where it is? A beautiful, oh my God. Oh, all right. Their account said a beautiful man, thank you, Chris, dressed in white with ribbons and pretty things all over his clothes, with gold things on his head and stars in it, which is really how a lot of people claim to have seen either Marian apparitions or
Right.
angelic apparitions.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So it's not uncommon. There's some corroboration. They said he had a lovely face and long white hair, that he stooped down and took little Mary and the baby, Johnny, in his arms, and said that Johnny was a fine little fellow, and that Mary played on the music thing he had. And that Mary played on the
Harp,
music thing.
maybe?
Yes.
Okay,
I had
so
to switch pages there. That was my first assumption.
All right.
I mean, I don't know why it's not identified as harp, but I mean, kids might not know. Dina might not know,
He
and
has a
certainly
mirror.
Mary and Johnny can't know.
Yeah.
So I was switching pages, so I was caught up in that. But I absolutely believe it's a harp.
Okay.
If only because that is the most generic
Angel
prop
thing. Yeah.
that you always see associated with angelic beings.
Yeah, unless he's got like a, I don't know, he's like rocking like a Les Paul. Fucking,
Yeah, right.
he's got some
Absolutely.
sweet fun guitar. He's just shredding.
No.
He's got dope Rickenbacker before
Yeah.
there's ever a Rickenbacker.
Yeah, he's got a theremin. Fucking
Yeah.
who knows
He's
what.
got a Moog.
Oh, it could. Oh,
He's got
yeah.
a fucking Moog.
He might have some fucking
Proto
really
Moog
dope shit.
synthesizer.
Proto Moogs, dude.
But I'm assuming
This
that
might
she
be
wasn't.
Rick. This might be fucking Rick Wakeman from Yes. This is who they're talking. It actually sounds like him. To think about it.
He played so hard he went back in time.
Oh my god.
And he brought Danzig with
And
him.
died along the way. Got his wings. Showed up in 1889.
Brought Don Rickles with him.
Oh, who wouldn't? And it was Don Rickles' voice that was the first half of these all these antics.
You,
Right.
you baby gorilla.
So, assuming it's a harp and that she's not dancing on, I don't know, literal music in some transcendental way,
Right.
that's what's going on.
All right.
I'll continue. The article is going to end very soon. Dina said she distinctly saw him stoop and lift Mary and Johnny in his arms and heard him speak to Johnny. Dina said he spoke to her also and said that man Woodcock thought he was not an angel, but he would show that he was. And then he said, and then she said he went up to heaven. And I don't know where the all red part came in.
He flew away.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I'm like, okay.
He just like flew away up into the heavens.
There's some more descriptions too, because there was a burst of fire in a lot of the other accounts I read. Not in this one specifically.
fucking Boba
like,
Fett
like,
rocket,
Woodcock,
like
fucking-
rocket fire? I was just going to
He's
say,
Boba
like,
Fett rocket jet. He's a fucking rocket
Yeah.
pack.
So I don't know. It could be one of the early flying man accounts, like the dude that was like
Oh, yeah.
frogging it up over Coney Island, and a lot of the other that
Yeah.
went with the fucking whole airship phenomenon of the late 1800s.
Oh,
but I don't think that's what they're
combustion,
describing.
No.
Because
No.
usually those were masked men or masculine figures in like leathery shitbag bat wings, like looking
Right.
like fucking
No,
something
yes.
Wile E. Coyote got from Acme like
Yeah.
the day
Hey,
before.
you have to. That was my
Yeah.
favorite. When he had that
yeah.
Batman suit.
Oh my god!
And he was flying and it made that flap noise.
Yes.
That was-
Oh, I love that thing. Yes.
I know
100%.
exactly.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it is. That's awesome.
Okay.
On leathery wings,
Yeah.
I ride.
With this final transformation scene, disappeared according to the. With this final transformation scene, I'm actually reading it but what I think it's trying to say, with this final transformation, the thing disappeared according to the promise, the mysterious disturber of this formerly peaceful home. Am I reading this like a complete idiot?
No, it's written weird. But
It's
Okay.
really weird. Yeah.
Whether this visitation has ceased for good remains to be seen, but on reappearance, Mr. Dagg agreed to at once notify Mr. Woodcock when the little girl Dina would be brought here, Brockville, and taken into Mr. Woodcock's family. So far, no word is reached here, being the newspaper, of any further disturbance. So the Brockville article was contained in a different article by, I think, like the Ottawa Times and Recorder or something like that. So the end part is not Woodcock talking, but the reporter for the Ottawa paper
Right.
saying that so far we haven't heard any word of it. But if the ghost was to show up again, according to this account, then they're giving up on her. They're going to fucking send him to Woodcock.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay. So ended the bizarre odyssey of the Dagg Demon, leaving those involved to wonder what the hell it was that had actually transpired on that isolated patch of Quebec farmland. Was it a demon, an angel, a ghost, a poltergeist, a psychical manifestation, an interdimensional trickster, or something else? Something we perhaps can't even fathom. According to Pontiac archivist and Dagg Demon expert, who we referenced in one of the earlier pods, Vanessa Crawford, quote, "He wanted to upset everybody there, and he did a good job of it. So whatever he could think of that was unusual that day, he did. He had a very unique personality. He was such a strange ghost. I don't think he was either good or bad. I think he was whatever he wanted to be in that moment," end quote. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think the evidence really points to just a mildly mischievous, certainly a self-centered thing, as Crawford indicates. But we'll let that sit.
Yeah.
As to the humans swept up in this paranormal maelstrom, it seems, based on the lack of reports that came after the media blitz, that they were no longer haunted by the demon that bore their name. But is that really so? There are those who claim that George and Susan Dagg were told by the perfidious prognosticator that their son would die in a war. And records seem to indicate that John, the youngest of their brood, did indeed perish in the trenches of the Great War.
Oh, a child was murdered, and as a war casualty older.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
And what of Dina? The child who seemed to be the focus and, according to some, the cause of all of the horrific happenings. Her story also takes a tragic twist. Reports claim that not long after the departure of the demon, George and Susan Dagg decided to ship their adopted daughter, who had lived with them for most of her life, off to the Fairnow Orphans Home in Brockville, Ontario.
Oh, Jesus.
So I guess the demon didn't show up again, or fucking
And
Percy Woodcock didn't make
They
it.
sent her to an orphanage?
They sent her back to an orphanage.
Jesus Christ.
At like 11 years old. So
What
she was adopted at, 6 or whatever?
Yeah.
Stayed there for 5 years, or maybe 4, and stayed. I don't know, but she got adopted young from Scotland. Basically, according to some, used like a workhorse, a babysitter, a butter churner, keep the fucking cream jugs clean.
Yeah.
Right.
And fucking all that shit. Like shitty stuff, and not necessarily treated like a daughter. And then when all this was done, thrown the fuck away.
Yeah, that's awful.
It is awful.
Jesus Christ.
It does suck. The details of her life following her discharge from the orphanage remain an enigma, with no marriage or burial records in her name. But on what one hopes is an uplifting note, there is a rumor that a teenage Dina was seen working on a nearby farm, and that one night she was called upon by a mysterious male visitor, and the two slipped off into the night, never to be heard from again.
Is it what's his name?
Perhaps
It's
Dean
Dean.
reclaiming his lost love?
Oh, there's a good ending.
Yeah, maybe.
Her and Dean hooked
we
back
want
up.
it to be.
Yeah, dude.
Who knows? We hope. One can only hope that even though Dina McLean was lost to history, she was eventually found by someone who loved her.
Oh man, that's such a. I've had a hard week. I needed that ending. I needed to know that
it might
Dean.
all be made up. It might have been a serial killer.
No,
and
let
then I
me
just
believe.
stole- No.
Let
it
me
was
believe.
Dean.
Let me
And it
believe.
was all right. So let's just go on this not
Dean-
supernatural. This opposite. This fucking completely practical, skeptical branch that we all. I mean, at least I think Mark and I want to be on, and I'm pretty sure Chris will join us. And that is
for sure.
It was all a plan.
Yes.
Between fucking Dina and Dean.
Yes,
And fucking she was doing the voice. She was the fucking ventriloquist extraordinaire
or
of
he
her
was
era.
too.
And he was throwing
No, I
rocks
feel
from
like-
a distance,
yeah.
and doing
I-
shady
yeah.
shit and setting fires and not giving fucks except about Dina,
Oh,
who we
and
love. She was 11. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna table that. It was the
We're not-
1880s.
we're not
it was
gonna-
the 18. It was
don't
Little House
listen.
on the Prairie.
Don't give ages.
You go blind.
Don't give
you,
ages.
You marry like
Okay, fine.
babies. It's what you do. It's not okay. It's what you do.
Don't give
so
ages.
fucking and Dean was 12 probably. They were young and in love. It's like a Wes Anderson movie. And fucking
I know, right?
And they worked this out, and then eventually, when it's all said and done, fucking George Dagg is like, oh, you didn't even get me my fucking land from Mrs. I don't know, Wallace and her fucking devil kids.
Yeah.
So fuck you. Go to an orphanage, but all right, whatever. She gets sent out to more foster work care stuff, which is, again, one of the great tragedies in the 1800s into the 20th century,
Right.
where kids, unfortunately, foster kids are still abused. We're not going to get into that. Just fucking, it was slave labor. But Dean comes back to the goddamn farm where she's working. And she's now a fully legal 18, let's just say, because it makes us feel better. And he's 19 and a half, and he's got a good career as a sheep shearer. And he's like, baby, We are going to make the life, and you know what? We're going to change our names because we don't need to be fucking tainted by all these happenings. We did what we had to do to get you off that filthy farm, and now we are going to be in love and happy forever.
Yeah.
And we're going to move to Ontario.
Tainted love,
That's the
dude.
deal. And now that you
Tainted
think
love.
about that, especially Wes Anderson, if he adapted a version of this fucking
Oh my
story,
God! Wouldn't
Oh
it be
my God!
brilliant?
How fucking good would that be?
It would be
Holy
the
shit.
goodest. Like literally.
I wonder. Is
now
Bill?
that I think about it, it's right up his fucking alley.
Is Bill Murray gonna play fucking the dad?
Yes,
dad or
100%.
whatever. Oh, it'd be so good.
Or is he going to be one of the preachers? Because they might throw in a funny role. I'd want him in a
yeah.
bigger role. You know what he'd be great as? Arthur Smart.
He
the guy
would,
who keeps
yeah.
encouraging you to kick the demon's ass and just keeps showing up and does ass and just is funny.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Edward Norton might be the
man.
dad.
Yeah,
I gotta send an email to Wes.
No, we
Yeah.
gotta
be
talk
like,
to. If anybody out there
you
has,
need to do this.
if anyone out there has Wes's fucking email
info,
hit us up. Yeah, for
send him
sure.
this pod. Let him decide for
Holy
himself.
shit.
All right. Well, I mean, how do we? Okay.
So
shit.
another, again, pragmatic perspective is George was really just trying to get some land. He cajoles his adopted daughter and his youngest daughter into saying all this shit because if you sour everyone on Mrs. Wallace, maybe she leaves. I mean, maybe, thankfully, I don't think people were being killed in the 1880s anymore, but maybe they just don't want the pressure from the community. I mean, even to this day, if you get stigmatized in a community, you sometimes just can't live there for whatever reason. But back then, and especially in a deeply, what was it called, like the Protestant fucking Alps or whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember the first part.
I'm in.
Like, maybe it was trying to let religious fervor force her off and he could keep some fucking land.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
believe that because that's a lot of fucking work. I don't believe it for a lot of reasons. I don't think George Dagg was doing that. I also, we'll get into all the reasons, even though we've discussed them before, why I don't think fucking Dina was actually faking it. But then the last, more prosaic explanation we have to offer up is that she really was just playing a ruse, and not necessarily in the great Wes Andersonian romantic way that we're hoping for, but like just for the kind of attention that you need, especially when you're slave labor and you're adopted kid. But if you're talking in a silly voice in a fucking woodshed, you're not working your fingers to the bone in a field,
right?
Not
and you convince your younger sister, who was like I think 4, to like go with you, and she's looking up to her older sibling, and they just do this thing. But that does not explain. I mean, the Mary could have said she saw a demon pouring sugar in an oven for no good fucking reason, but that doesn't explain how the Bible disappears. That doesn't explain.
No, there's
how
a billion things that it
other
doesn't
dudes,
explain.
horse muzzle,
fire
halter.
everywhere,
exactly.
Shitty cream jugs,
Shitty cream jugs everywhere, water in faces. I mean,
All right.
yeah, it's true. If Dina's doing this solo, Susan Dagg and Mary Dagg, her mother-in-law, are going to see who's throwing water in their fucking face.
that's what I mean.
Right,
It's just
yeah.
like,
I mean, someone
what the
could start
fuck?
fires, someone could chuck rocks from a distance.
Right.
And here's the other thing, and I'll just say it right now, and I mentioned it just a minute ago. I don't know how to throw voices, but even a professional ventriloquist, I think, would say, you're an 11-year-old kid. You're untrained. You're going to have fucking tells that show your throat warbling. I don't fucking know, your lips kind of moving. Like, it's very difficult, even for the best of the best, to not give tells. And when you got fucking, hundreds probably when you add them all together, but at like 50 at a time or 25 at a time, staring right at you. And you're managing to make your voice sound like it's not coming from your mouth, but from a fucking distance. And then you're talking in like this coarse old man voice for fucking, I don't know how many hours beyond it, and you don't have a sore throat, you don't lose your voice.
Right.
I call bullshit. I just don't think she could do it.
No,
Unless-
especially you're there for 12 hours. Like, was she just standing in the room the whole time? Was she in another room? She's going to have to go to the bathroom or something. She can't be in that room the whole time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's no way, like...
It doesn't seem feasible to me.
No, I'm not buying that one.
Unless
No.
maybe it was Dean doing it, but
I'm not saying they didn't tag
but even
team.
then, I mean, how
that was a theory back
to
in
make it sound like
episode
it's
1,
booming from
but-
nowhere.
yeah, that's kind of hard. Yeah. Well, all right.
I mean, you're right. It's something.
Okay,
It's
well.
something.
Hey, we've covered the skeptical angle already.
Yeah.
So there we have it.
Yes.
Boom.
So, before we get to the fully paranormal, I'm gonna reference this article here. Let me cite it proper. The Ottawa Valley Ghost Hunt, which we've referenced earlier, on the trail of the Dagg Demon, and in it there is a reference to. Let me go back to my notes. A family that lived in the home 125 years after. Now it's 133. We all three did the math and confirmed.
Yep.
But it was back, fucking 8 years ago. Charlene Lombard lives today in the home of the old Dagg family. They were first amused by the local interest in the property, but Danielle was the first to admit there could still be some things that go bump in the night. She recalled hearing as a teenager someone climbing the creaky old stairs and stop outside her door. Thinking it was a sibling prank, she flung the door open only to find herself alone and terrified. Her siblings claim an upstairs door also had the habit of opening and closing of its own volition. I don't have a superstitious mind, Charlene explained. The family matriarch said she has never felt or seen anything, but some of her children claim to have seen, and here's where things get a little fucking weird, we foreshadowed this in the intro, what appears to be a little girl in a white gown or dress come down the stairs in the original part of the old farmhouse and cross down the hall to the kitchen door. Charlene's late husband swore he saw the apparition once too. Pointedly, some Dagg family stories indicate that a young daughter, Eliza Jane, died at the farm under mysterious circumstances, scalded by a pot of boiling water.
Oh, it's an awful way to go.
The worst.
What? Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
Eliza, dude, she comes out of nowhere, man. She's the...
This whole story is just people out of nowhere. It's just fucking like...
That's what it is. Oh, by the way, Eliza Jane died, scolded to death one day.
Yeah.
Further moving on. All right, whatever.
I will end it on this here. Though most lore places the event after the famous haunting,
Okay.
the tragedy has been linked to the spirit. So here's the thing. Did they
That
have
makes
a
sense.
third baby and it got burned to death and now it's haunting? God, terrible.
How
in
many
every way.
babies got to fucking burn in this
How
place?
many babies?
Jesus Christ.
How many babies need to go? So,
Well, I just
throw
assumed that
in.
that was
there's
something that
still
it wasn't even
something
in the
happening
Dagg family.
there.
There was whoever lived there somewhere in the 125
Sure.
years, and that just got amalgamized into the Dagg.
And if it's all in one house,
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be...
and if it's another family that lived there later, and something terrible like that happens, well, you pray it's a tragic accident. If it's something
Right.
intentional, who knows? But maybe laying it at the blame of a demon that allegedly once dwelled in the house. So I had to throw that in there
All right.
for
Fair, dude.
you know, whatever, full disclosure, whatnot. But here's something that we have to deal with, even though I've stated why and this comes from the Linda Linda's Sec Caspina WordPress. She wrote a little article about it, but she also reprinted a lot of these articles that we've used. So this was from the Ottawa Journal, November 24th, 1910, Thursday, page 6. Dagg's Dupes is the headline. Some new particulars about the dirty spook. The Bryson Equity criticizes some of Mr. Woodcock's statement that tomfoolery a disgrace to the neighborhood. Keep our skeptic hats firm, but let's, also be fair about this here.
Okay.
The Bryson Pontiac Equity comes out flat-footed with the assertion that the famous spook is a fraud. The Equity of yesterday says... inquiry by our reporter elicits the fact that according to the Daggs, Mr. Woodcock has been unreliable in some particulars of the yarn related by him. For example, he stated that the Wallace family had removed the onus of suspicion from their shoulders in the discussion had between them and the spirit. This was stoutly denied by the Daggs, and they expressed surprise that Woodcock should be guilty of such misrepresentation. So to make that clear... one of the things that this new newspaper, the Equity, is bitching about. It was published in the Ottawa Journal, is that he said that once the Mrs. Wallace came and her kids fucking sassed back to the ghost, as we talked about in the last pod,
Right.
that they didn't do it. Let's move on. But the Dagg family, perhaps for sinister reasons, perhaps for legitimate reasons, said, "Oh, fuck you. I think Mrs. Wallace is still a witch and she brought that shit on us."
Okay.
So that's the first thing.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. But the discrepancy between Mr. Woodcock's story and that told by the Daggs led to further investigation. On the day following, our reporter met with several men who happened to be at the Daggs on Sunday while matters in connection with the supernatural were at their intervessing point. I'm just making up this word based on what I can read, so to speak. From these men, who are regarded as reliable men of sound common sense, it was learned that the mysterious voice came from a room which no one was permitted to enter save the little girl Dina, who sat on a bed while the talking was in progress.
Oh,
Yep, got to address it.
Yeah.
In such a position that she could not be seen clearly by those who occupied the adjoining room. That when anyone attempted to get a glimpse of her, the voice called in angry tones to get their long nose out of that, or made use of some such remark that the statement of Woodcock that the voice had proceeded while the girl's mouth was full of water was not true, that the first time the test was tried, the girl swallowed the water, and the second time, when cautioned not to, the voice simply uttered an unintelligible sound resembling a hoarse moan. No one besides Woodcock appears to have seen the pencil performing its alleged marvelous feat, and the spirit did not, as it was affirmed, give particulars of past events that were unknown to the Dagg family. Now you got to remember, too, suspicious journalism goes on both sides.
Yeah.
So I know all of us, we're all just like, well, fuck you, fuck Percy, fuck it all. But there's still a lot of things, unless of course the girl was really alone in a room. If that's actually if that's the truth,
Yeah, well,
we have to. We Cryptonaut, we're not here just to be fucking blatant true believers. We're delivering the goods. Okay.
Which actually, if she was putting this on and Percy caught onto it and he kind of was playing along with her with it,
right,
knowing that, this is going to get me at my fucking paranormal tits in a fucking hustle over here, then...
Paranormal tits in a hustle, by the way, is one of my favorite statements of all time.
It's going to be my new book on Amazon after Whimsy of a Child. He could have been playing along with it, knowing what she was doing and just playing along with it the entire time so he could get his fucking moment in,
and he
moment
did.
of fame.
Because people report that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting to the end here. A careful consideration of these several points conduced to the opinion among these parties that the voice proceeded from the girl Dina and that certain, if not all of the members of the family were in collusion with her. A strong ground for this opinion lies in the persistence with which they say the Daggs thwarted all attempts at investigation. Anyone expressing doubts of the reality of the spirit or the innocence of Dina were given to understand that their presences were undesirable, and strange to say, the spirit itself was invariably the first to propose the rejection of incredulous individuals. The last note I will say, this guy's a cantankerous, contrarian fuckface. If it is a separate, intelligent, paranormal entity,
right,
if someone didn't believe in him, he would shit on them. But that doesn't take away from the rest of this.
All right, well...
So...
All right.
So... This is what it is, and they conclude that they think it's all a farce, and the child. Here's something dark, though. This is really dark.
Okay.
The girl undoubtedly was the author of the mysterious voice, and whether the other incidents of the comedy can be attributed to her as well remains, of course, for those who pulled the strings to know. That a child should have been made the instrument for carrying out such a piece of gross deception in a Christian country seems astounding. It is a crime deserving of severe punishment, and it will surprise us indeed if the parties upon whom a most foul stigma was sought to be attached allow it to pass without seeking redress for the injury which they have sustained. And another one goes so far as to say that they think that Dina should be... corporally punished.
Jesus.
It wasn't this article. It was another one I read. I thought that's where this one was going.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking lighten up,
1889.
guys.
She's 11.
Lighten up.
All
this
right,
is why you guys died of dysteria and dumb shit, because you're stupid.
So here's where people are going to accuse me of trying to put on my paranormal hat, and I will grant them this. Newspapers were the only real source of information. They were the biggest source. They made millionaires out of their owners and millionaires out of their most productive contributors, be they cartoonists or headline reporters or editorialists or whomever. Two papers fighting was always a thing.
Right. So that could just be two different viewpoints.
Exactly.
Just to
Brookville
sell
Times
fucking,
has got their Percy Woodcock, and he's telling his story. And again, Percy Woodcock could be a shadester of immense, potentially destructive power in terms of the truth.
Right.
But he could also be telling the truth as he knows it. And another paper saying they sent a reporter. barely mentioning. So the Dagg's big problem was they still think Mrs. Wallace is a fucking witch.
Right. Who sent the
fucking
demon?
demon.
But the demon
Yeah.
said so.
But the demon said so,
The demon
and the Witch of
stated-
Plum Hollow said
Right.
so.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The
Lest
witch
we
of-
forget,
Yeah. But
Well, yeah.
allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
don't know.
That's what I mean.
No one was there.
The
taking
witch said
fucking
it was
notes.
Wallace.
and then the
It's
demon.
not me. She said it.
All right. So skeptically, I think we've hit everything skeptically.
Yeah.
We know that there is definitely a huge fucking gap here that we're like, all right, this clearly could be what it is.
To me, the biggest fucking problem is when she was out in the woodshed,
Right.
she wasn't in a fucking room.
well,
When there was a 5-hour debate, she
No,
wasn't in a
that-
fucking
yeah.
room. But she could very well have been in one of the bedrooms.
yeah,
And that is shady.
it is.
If everything took place while she was in a different room and
Right.
just, get the fuck out of here, don't look at me, I'm not doing anything, fuck off,
That was good.
Thank you.
It was very good.
Dagg Demon.
Yeah.
Fucking
Dagg.
then fine. But so many of these things happened. Well, the bulk of the debate happened outside. So that's one thing. Second thing, all right, anyone can be hucking rocks, granted, but it's kind of fucking weird. All right, so that doesn't really prove anything. What was I going to say?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
There was
yeah,
the
yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
there
the
was,
Bible disappearing into the fucking oven.
Right, the sugar
And,
being poured in there.
the Hulk
by
dropping from
by
the sky.
Minotaur. The Minotaur
Sure.
sugar.
I mean,
yeah.
again, you could easily say that Dina convinced Mary to say you saw a devil and he was pouring sugar in
And
there.
if this-
and Dina actually poured the sugar, or Mary herself did.
Right.
And the demon said, "Come to hell with me," or whatever. Do you want to have a date? And you want some coffee? Go to hell.
I mean, in the
Great
paper, this other paper is stating that they were all in on it. Which, okay, fine, we could make ties there. But
Yeah, I feel like, remember? Okay, so I said Wes Anderson. I lied.
Yeah.
okay,
This is going to be a Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh Jesus.
no.
Well, now I want to see it like 83% less.
yeah,
No, well, this
Not
is,
that he's not a great director.
No, but this is why, because if you made if this was a cinematic thing and every single player in here had their own agenda
right.
and just played off of each other, and you don't find this out until the end.
Until the end.
That is a Christopher Nolan fucking movie.
No, you're right.
It is.
Like-
no,
it
it's
is.
Memento.
You
meets
have
Inception
Dina and
meets-
Dean doing
Yeah.
the thing, but then you have the family playing
Getting
into
in
this
on
because
it.
it's fame for fucking them.
Right.
And then you have Woodcock also playing into this
Getting
because
the
that's
fame.
fucking
No,
fame for
Woodcock's
him.
got his agenda. Dina might have her agenda, just
These-
avenging her lost
right,
love.
these new papers
George wanting
having
the property of Mrs.
conflict.
Wallace,
It's good for them.
and they abandoned the adopted
man.
daughter the second it doesn't pay off.
This is the
right?
This
So now
is
it's just
the
it's this
deeper-
weird, it's interconnected weirdly, but nobody really knows what the other person.
And then you still have a
Is
shot.
doing.
You
Yeah.
can still have a
Yeah.
shot
Right.
of like when all of this starts unraveling and people are like, holy fuck, this is just this great deception and this person wants this and this person wants that, all the things Chris said. And then Mary, 4 years old, holding like some sort of stuffed animal, little Johnny playing at her feet, leans back and looks down that little corridor that leads to one of the two bedrooms, and you see the jet black Minotaur looking back at her, and you're like, oh my God, could there be a fucking demon there too? Could it be orchestrating the nefarious desires of all involved, as they say Satan is wont to do?
Oh,
The Satan?
the greatest
I
trick the devil
mean,
ever pulled.
So it could be
Fucking
well,
with the
it could be
Daggs.
nothing.
Convincing
it
the
could be
world.
everything at the same time.
And
Yeah.
All of these
Yeah.
things conspiring, like in a weird way that is not.
there's so many. You're right.
I think that actually that
no,
right there
cinematically
brings
speaking,
it.
that is the best, and
Yeah.
I think it does bring it. And I think we should end it on that note. I will say though, for all my skepticism, two things. One, there's still a chance that there was something genuinely paranormal infused in what could have been a great amount of all too human, nearly Shakespearean treachery.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all agree on the second part. We really hope Dina ended up all right.
Yeah,
Because
for
if you're
sure.
an 11-year-old girl pulling all that shit, you're doing so for a reason. And God knows what if you were getting beat. I mean, kids you gave birth to were getting beat on the regular.
Right.
But a fucking adopted kid that you just brought in to be a fucking, a handy worker, fucking Jesus Christ, who knows how vulnerable they could be. I don't even want to get into any other kinds of abuse because I just can't think about that. But fucking, who knows what kind of hell she was in. She was just 11 regardless, and she was sent back to an orphanage. So I think we can all collectively wish that however this played out and whether or not paranormal events were involved, that she ended up having at least some reasons to smile in her
Right.
later life. And I hope Dean came back for her.
Yeah.
Swept her off her feet because she was
Totally.
working as a slave for another farmhouse. Who knows what was happening. And he
Yep.
just shows back up and is like, baby, I never forgot you.
Yeah.
I wasn't just throwing
No.
stones and lighting fires for you.
That
I'm
is
here.
the end of either movie by
Either
either director.
movie has to be.
Her
Has
and
to be.
Dean end up Like,
Totally.
oh, hey, worked out, and then
I'd still rather Wes Anderson do it just
Nah,
because
same.
I love
No,
it. But
I'm-
Chris
I'm-
is not wrong.
No, he's
to
not.
do it right. To do the story
I'm saying
justice.
if you're gonna do the realistic, serious like
I'd accept either
interpretation,
one.
that
Or
that
old
would be
timey
that.
David Fincher if we want it to be bleak as fuck.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, God bless. So anyway, Dagg Demon, man. Who
There
the
it
fuck
is.
knows? It's a
Fucking the
crazy
Dagg
odyssey.
Demon.
We gave it all to you. Do the research on your own and dig deeper if you can.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
rock
you know,
out.
I know we covered, skeptically, and if it's not, the thing said it was a demon. So there you go. There's no like hidden UFO agenda. It's just like I'm a demon. I came. There you go.
Yeah,
Right.
Fuck
I
it,
mean,
there
I
it
mean,
is.
Until it
it's
wasn't,
clearly
and it
not
was
a
an angel.
poltergeist.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
clear- I mean, it might be a ghost,
Until
but
it
what kind
wasn't,
of ghost?
yeah.
It definitely wasn't an angel, as
Yeah.
Chris just said. And maybe it was just a Jeff. What the fuck was a Jeff? A Jeff was maybe an interdimensional interloper.
Fifth
maybe
dimension,
he
dude.
came from the fifth
Yeah.
dimension, split the atom, eighth dimension. I don't even remember.
And fucking
he
jetted.
fucked up shit. And he just jetted, and he didn't do anything that hurt people physically too much, but he certainly
Right.
fucked with their minds, and maybe got to the point, because it happened with I wish I could remember the name of the family on that remote island that Jeff, tormented, then befriended, then whatever.
No, yeah.
But they became
Yeah.
corrupted by it. And maybe that's where the idea of demons come from, and I promise I won't digress too deep. The idea that paranormal things take decent people and make them do shit they wouldn't ordinarily do. Maybe it's not evil. Maybe it starts with mischief in mind, and that the Christian hierarchy labeled it as fucking demons, the Judeo-Christian hierarchy. But maybe it's just shit like Jeff and maybe like Dagg, where it's just like, fuck it. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do shit. I'm not going to throw the rock hard enough to really hurt Mary. I'm not going to set a fire that will burn the house down. But, I'm going to fuck around, and and somehow it makes the people worse than what they were. And that's why organized religion calls them demons, when really they're just kind of shit heels.
Yeah. Well,
Interdimensional shit heels.
It's possible.
yeah. Oh shit.
not.
But
Who the fuck knows?
Or not.
or it's not possible.
Yeah. Shit. Well, there it is. The Dagg Demon Part 3, The Reckoning. Thank y'all so very much for joining us for the Dagg Demon Trilogy. That's what I'm going to start calling it from now on. The socials, boys, the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks. Fuck.
'em.
I'm there doing it. We're making it happen.
They're fun.
We're fucking hanging out.
I'm not,
So-
but I want to be. And, I'm going to sign up for the gram, I think.
All right, man. Get on the gram, dog. Do it. Thank you for
I'm on the gram.
DMs and whatnots.
I don't do anything there.
No, Chris has an account on the gram, but
That's
there's-
it.
there's
I've never
Do
no-
people
posted a
send you
fucking
messages?
thing. Occasionally.
Oh,
Yep.
see, that's nice.
Yeah, there
I
you
want to
go.
talk to people.
I
Dude,
mean,
jump-
rare. You could be active or not. It's
I mean, I don't have a lot of pictures I want to post, but I just want to talk to
I
people.
have
fucking
zero
artist.
pictures I want to post.
You're an artist.
Oh yeah, I do have I have a whole catalog. Yeah, I can post a lot of stuff.
Jesus Christ.
I have no
think-
pictures.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
I was
fucking
thinking
draw
photographs. Like I post shit of me and my nephew and niece online.
There you
I don't
go.
know.
All right. Well, we're
You
the
know?
social medias. Find us there. Rob's coming soon. The Patreon, patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. Thank you to everyone that supports us over there. Very much
Yes.
appreciated.
Oh my gosh.
Be sure to sign up for the Discord. We got some live events
You
happening.
have to fucking
Yes,
do
it's
this.
fucking dope.
It is one of the coolest communities that has ever existed.
It's
I mean, I
fucking
don't know
cool
because
as
I'm not
shit.
involved in all online communities, but I can tell you this: this collection of individuals does amazing things. They interact really in just this most dynamic and fun way with one another. And when they do these public or public within Discord events, I should say, it's fucking phenomenal.
Chris and I
Yeah.
were just on the campfire
Yeah.
hanging out. So that
and
was
I
dope.
was pre-gaming to the point where I fucking lost track of time, and I wish
Well,
I was there.
It's okay. It's okay. Next campfire, buddy, we're going to get you on there.
No, I love it. I love that community so much.
Hellerspace.com. Get yourself them t-shirts. They are there for sale. And that's everything, boys. That's how we ended. Oh, we have a shout out to do. Shit. Let me bring up my notes here
God damn
real
it, dude!
quick.
You almost skipped it.
I did not forget the
Notes.
shout out because I actually
No,
have
you
it.
did.
I have. Well, okay, it's true. I almost did, but it's because I had my goddamn notes got all fucking screwed up, so I couldn't find the goddamn thing. We want to give a very special shout out to the death metal band Bound by the Grave out of Baltimore. Thank y'all so very much. We
fuck
got some
yeah.
dope shirts.
Yep,
We got some
dope
sweet
shirt.
mugs. Check them out. Boundbythegrave.com. You can get their merch there. They are on Spotify. They are on the Instas. They're on the Facebooks. And if you fucking love death metal, I love death metal. Fucking check them out.
Fucking
do.
you're right.
They're dope. Super cool.
Yeah,
Thank y'all
I
again.
love their logo on the pint glass.
The pint glass
that I'm
is super
using.
cool, dude.
Yeah,
It's
no,
dope.
it's the most thorny, ultimate, uber metal logo
Dude,
I've ever
I
fucking
love
seen.
it. Dude,
ever.
I love it on the shirt.
Like
too,
I
dude.
feel
It
like
looks
I'm
so
getting
dope.
trapped in the forest.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, again, make sure to check them out. Bound by the Grave, the socials and the Spotify's. They're there doing it. Thank you guys again for sending us the merch. Very much appreciated. There you have it. Thank you all so very much for joining us, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Goodbye.
Yeah, definitely.
Farewell.
See you later.
Keep your adopted kids.
Clean
That's all.
your cream jug.
Clean your cream jug.
The buttercup. No, wait, was it?
No, it was
butter?
butter. No, it was
What
butter.
was it?
I don't know. Butter lanyard.
I don't know what it was. Butter barrel?
Can you have a butter
thing?
lanyard?
Yeah.
Butter lanyard?
I
What
don't
do you
know.
trim butter in?
Oh, I don't know. I would keep butter around my neck for special butter occasions.
Oh, like a, I said rum dog. Almost a fucking, what do they got St. Bernard?
the
rum
great-
dog.
Yeah, the rum dog.
We got
The
a
rum
rum
dog's
dog.
up the Swiss.
I would love to just ring a bell and rum dog comes in with this fucking rum.
Especially if it's like
Oh,
some
my
dark
God.
Kraken or something rich and delicious. Like, oh, thank you, rum dog.
Oh, man, that's awesome. All
And
right,
what if
fuck
you have
it.
to pretend you're freezing to death like in a snow mix? All you have to do is put like 3 ice cubes on your knee and call the rum dog.
Yeah.
rum dog, I'm dying. Help me, help
What
me.
are those St.
Rum
Bernards
dog.
called with the barrel on there? It's like a cliche. Do they have a collective name?
I thought they were the same.
No, I don't know if they don't have like a title.
Oh, I
Like,
thought they did. Oh, it'd be
No.
great. Well, let's find one. If not,
well,
rum
they
dog.
do now. It's called rum
Rum dog.
dogs.
Rum dog.
Oh, Airbud 78.
Oh,
rum
nice.
dog.
Oh, we'll be talking to you.